And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for yourself.
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
Yeehaw! Yippee-ki-yay! What a wonderful day!
What a wonderful,
going on,
what a
brother?
wonderful month!
Oh, dude! Today I just learned something new. Chris, what's going on with May? What is May?
Apparently, today is National Masturbation Month.
Oh, masturbation!
So,
You said it. I'll spread it.
so,
Come on
I mean,
now, baby.
do
Like what kind of masturbation?
Do what
like,
you will
lube,
with that information.
lube it up Tuesdays. Like, do we have like slippery, slimy Sundays, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Tug job Tuesdays.
Tug job Tuesdays. Jesus.
We're gonna do wet willy Wednesdays. I mean, I can keep going.
And it's not just like a made up thing. This is I got it right here from the fucking New York Post. Boom.
Click on that link,
Masturbation.
dude. Let's read some of this. Oh, based off your zodiac sign?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that. Oh boy.
I'm
So
lazy.
you and I are both the Pisces, so let's scroll right on down to that and find out what we're in tune for here.
Okay, let's see. Let's do this. Okay, May is National Master. Why can't I?
Dude,
say
I
that
love
right now?
the video. What? Masturbation causes acne? Or that's a myth? Okay,
There's
good.
no link between self-love and seething.
Man. Okay, that had me worried there for a little bit.
Aries.
Oh wait, so here's Aries. Here's Dave. Let's read
March
what Dave's
21st
masturbation.
through April 9th. April 19th. Sorry.
Okay, so beginning the first sign of the zodiac. What does this say?
It makes sense for Aries to be and why not? Lust tells the
Oh.
post.
Explore your body in front of a partner or even a mirror.
Oh, make yourself
Make
and
yours-
your stunning body known.
Hell yeah, Dave, do it. Wiggle
Showing-
that body.
Showing your partner or yourself how
Could
you
you imagine
gain
Dave?
pleasure will turn the heat up.
Just spanking it in front of a mirror. Just sweat dripping from his brow, staring into his own eyes. Oh
God.
boy. All right. Well, that's just weird, dude. So Dave has to do it in front of a mirror or in front of his wife.
So the top tip for this, for Dave's, which we're
Mhm.
going to have to show him this when he gets here. He's going to be here
Oh,
in
yeah,
like
definitely.
a couple minutes. So the top tip is try putting on music or employing sexy lighting to ease yourself into this. You got to
Oh, yeah?
you got to ease yourself into masturbation.
Well, not if you're a dude. I think this is more for ladies, if you're saying, you know what I mean? Because
Well, okay.
the video did have a hand gripping the sheet. You know what I mean? That move where
Masturbating in front of someone can be nerve-wracking. I read nerve-wracking first. That's why I
Nerve-wracking.
left. Could be
Ah.
nerve-wracking. They missed.
you are literally
they missed a
nerve-wracking.
great opportunity with that pun right there.
right there. Okay, well, scroll on down to Pisces, dude.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
screw all the other
Yeah.
horoscope things.
Okay, Cancer.
We got to find out what
Leo,
our position of the month is.
Libra, Scorpio.
It's going to be the very last one. It always is. Don't know what it is about
Pisces.
March.
Ooh, just going off this picture. I mean, okay.
Sultry? Oh, what the hell? What in the BDSM is this shit? We got to put on like fucking leather masks?
Man, that one's like a leather dog head.
That is a dog head. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Is this bestiality?
I don't know
What is
this
that? What's the white leather face has a hole in the mouth? Did you see that?
Oh yeah. Well, he's got to breathe, right?
Do you? If you're in a, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, what's it say?
I don't
What's it
know.
say?
Okay.
Like we got to like suffocate ourselves while we do this? We got to go out.
Lust recommends Pisces people dip a toe
Dip a toe in what?
or a fin, as it were, into a sex party.
A sex party?
Dude, I
Okay.
came in at the right time, bro. What's
So like, can you go back to the article? I want to see what this
Okay,
is
okay.
saying, dude.
Okay. Imaginative
Okay.
and intuitive are two words that sum up a Pisces. two traits
Oh,
that
yeah.
work hand in hand for an orgy, right?
What? This is telling me to like have an orgy? Oh my god!
What the fuck am I missing right now?
Today's this is Masturbation Month. May is apparently
Oh shit!
National Masturbation Month.
Nice, dude. I didn't
Yeah.
know that was a thing.
So everybody, Dave's here. He just showed
What's
up.
We already covered, Dave. We covered
Yeah,
your position.
we're-
Dude.
here-
we found out
you're-
what you need to do.
This is what your thing is, dude.
I thought every month was a National Masturbation.
Well, hey, you know,
Aries.
you could celebrate
Aries,
it
right
year
here.
long.
Aries, yes sir. So being the first
Second.
sign of the zodiac makes sense for Aries to be known and seen, and why not? Lust tells the post. Aries, this month is about you. Oh God, put on a show and leave people wanting more, baby. Every time.
You got to do it in front of a
you do it
mirror.
in front of a mirror.
I always, you know, yeah, okay.
So it's
In a
almost
mirror?
like you're watching people, but it's yourself.
But wouldn't that make you gay? Watching yourself and be like, oh yeah, look at that boner. Oh yeah.
Oh, man. I try not.
You know,
to,
I don't know.
try not to like
Maybe.
eyeball myself jerking off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely not focusing on my own body.
So who was that one we
Yeah.
were just? Who was the one we were just? doing?
Pisces was me and
Pisces.
Greg.
Okay, so you guys.
Yeah.
We have sex parties.
You gotta have
We're supposed to
orgies.
have sex parties, which I don't. Are we just doing masturbation parties? Because it's only
No,
masturbation.
it say
month.
you don't have to join, but you can watch.
Oh,
Yeah, you see that?
I didn't
part?
read that part.
Okay.
It's that next line there. It says right there. You don't
Okay.
have
Well,
to,
anybody
you don't
out
have to
there doing
participate.
their orgy this month, make sure to invite me so I can watch.
You can just watch.
You can using these two skills. A Pisces can use their imagination, but keep an eye on the other person to ensure that they're feeling the pleasure too.
All right.
Yeah. Can I breathe heavy while I watch too? That's the only way I can feel
probably.
satisfied.
Yeah.
I like it says if you're nervous, take someone with you. It could be a partner, friend, or new love interest. Boy,
Dude.
can you
A
imagine
friend,
that?
just a friend.
Chris
Hey,
is just
hey,
like, Dave, do you want to go to an orgy?
hey, Dave, you're the only friend I have in Texas right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to like a masturbation orgy?
God.
What in the Hollywood is this?
Oh my!
We can make
God.
some new friends, maybe.
Jeez,
Yeah.
National Masturbation Month.
That just
Yeah.
sounds like a blackmail sting waiting to happen, doesn't
Oh,
it?
right.
Like,
Right.
I just
Want
want
to
to
go
know
to an orgy sex party?
who makes this shit up. Like, who decides as Masturbation Month?
I don't know.
Like,
Dude, it's meant for ladies.
is it?
Like, cause it's all about horoscopes. Think about it. Like, women are usually into horoscopes.
No, I
right?
know, I totally. But like, there's a month for it. Like, I know it's obscure, but who decided that? Like, we need a month for masturbation. Like, I feel like people.
Dude, there's a
just-
month for everything. Why not?
Yeah, but don't people just masturbate like when they need to or feel like they need to?
Oh, yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Well, you do make a good point. Like now they feel like obligated. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Well, it's the first Tuesday of masturbation month. I
It's
gotta
like-
get busy.
I can't let this national holiday go to waste.
Well, it's all,
I know, like
it's
every,
also
every minute.
Yeah.
it's also It's also National Awareness Month. So
Mm.
while you're masturbating,
Oh, yeah, mental health and all
like
that.
Dave, he could fucking he's aware. Obviously,
I'm aware.
he's got to be more aware. That makes it more appealing, right?
Yeah.
I'm aware of. I'm pinching a tent. Okay, in my pants. So
I think it makes sense as what you said it was the mental health month. Is that what
National Awareness Month
for?
for causes. I don't know,
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I can see a lot of
like
depression.
like Save Rhino Day or something.
I can see a
And,
lot of
Oh.
depression in masturbation month. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the month where you realize I actually don't have a vagina to do this with. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so it's Heritage Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, Jewish American Heritage Month.
yeah.
There's a National Nurses Week.
Teacher
teacher
appreciation.
Wait, it's
appreciation.
Jewish National Heritage Month.
Yeah,
Jewish American Heritage.
Whoa, what are the odds, dude?
Harvey Milk Day,
whatever the fuck that is.
and then the World
Harvey Milk, dude. That's that
and then
milk.
there's,
The
there's
movie.
also this
Oh, yeah,
month is
okay.
World Bee Day.
World Bee Day.
What is it?
World Bee Day is on the 20th.
Oh, World Bee Day. Okay,
It's, a lot of this is like so. Above.
Did you hear World BJ?
Oh yeah.
I did because I was in that masturbation
The
kind of
World blowjob day.
World BJ. That would
Yeah.
be a fucking mess.
Oh my god.
I'll let my wife know. I guess.
More gagging in that month than any other month. You know what I'm saying? Oh
Yeah.
man.
Dude,
Jesus.
you know what? I knew a guy that could suck his own penis.
Really?
He admitted it. Yeah. And I'm like,
did he have
Yeah,
like
so-
ribs removed, or did he like just born with
no.
without
He's
his
like
lower ribs?
one time.
You
He's
could
like
do it.
he bent over down there and he was able to stick the thing in his mouth.
One time
And
in
I'm
band
like-
camp.
That's I don't know if I'd be telling people that, you know?
I don't know why you would ever do that. I feel like that's taking it to another level. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're border gay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. Like I thought like staring at yourself wanking in front of a mirror was
Yeah.
gay, but
I feel like I could
Putting your own
definitely
shit in
suck
your
my
mouth?
own dick. I honestly feel like I could.
You're pretty flexible.
I'm very flexible. I'm kind of
That's
chubby,
true.
but I'm very flexible. But I've never actually like. Listen, I've never been
You
naked
never
and done
tried?
it. No, but I've obviously with doing flexibility things, I've got to positions where I'm like, oh, I think I could.
Oh, it's like right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's poking me in the eye. I feel like I could, but like to actually do it is like another
Yeah.
level of kind of like, really, you okay? Did
Well,
you
that's
also
like,
swallow? You know, that would be my second question.
exactly,
Yeah.
dude. It's like, how gross are you gonna be,
Like
dude?
you gave yourself a facial. You know what I'm saying? Like a fucking facial.
Yeah.
No.
I gave myself a bukkake the other day in masturbation month.
Damn, bro.
Well, so like, remember we knew that kid. I'm not going to say names, but he stuck his dick in a teddy bear. Remember?
Oh
He
man.
fucked a teddy bear.
What did you
Fuck
like?
this
Just
stuffed
cut
animal.
like a hole in it?
Or didn't he
Or
jizz
just
in a
like-
cup and
Yeah, he did. He fucking did.
he did
So
stuff
there's.
with
I
it?
want to explain something.
Or he's
'cause
like
I-
wrap its like arms and legs around his dick? Or
No, we listen. We went to a house. Okay, we went to his house. He was younger than us by like a year.
This was not. I was not there. I was not
No.
privy to this. But
Who was there though? It was it was me and our friend Tim. I think went over. But he was a friend of my brother's actually, and like he was fine. He was kind of a different cat, but he was fine. But he was into the stuff we were into. And we just I don't know why we stayed the night. We stayed the night at his house in high school, and he had a porno. He had a
Yeah.
fucking porn video, and he's like, "You guys want to watch porn?" We're like, "Sure, dude. You know, like why not? We're
Okay.
just three
Dude, the
dudes."
gr-
what
group
kind was
porn
it? Like
watching was a
a
thing.
was it like a European one, or was
Nah,
it
it
like
was
did they
just-
speak English?
Yeah, they spoke English. It was just like a fucking recorded on a VHS, you know, like that.
Dude,
fucking-
those are the
Oh,
best
yeah.
though. Like
Yeah, a little
the
grainy.
European porn where
Sure.
it's like they're clearly not saying the words, but they're
Yeah.
like, like the European sounds are added in.
they say we.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Oh.
and like the groaning is so like
Mhm.
not even matching what's going on. Just, oh, you heard
Yeah.
that?
And it's
Well,
super over
It's because
exaggerated.
it's dubbed over. They fucking dub it over, dude. But long story short, dude. So he was watching. Me and Tim were sitting on the futon, right? We were up on the top, and he was on the floor. And I fucking moved my leg because I had my feet up on the futon. We both had our feet up, like on
This
the.
sounds like you're describing a sexual position.
Well, no, we were sitting on the futon with our feet on the futon, so our legs were bent up in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Like we were
Oh,
watching.
okay.
And I moved my leg, and Tim was sitting next to me, and he goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because I moved my leg, he saw this other guy. He was like rubbing himself on the floor. He was getting into this porn. And we're like, "What the fuck?" You know. So we were like, "What the fuck you doing, man? It's fucking gross, dude. Like we're right here." You know, like that's. So for whatever reason, it turned into like, "You guys dare me to have sex with this stuffed animal?" We're like, "Dude, no. Like what's?"
So he just wanted to have sex with the
He went and like
Yeah, I know.
he had sex with stuffed animals.
He's like, "Do you dare
He's
me?
like, dare
to
me,
do
please.
this?"
Yeah.
Please, someone dare me.
Yeah, it was a fucking very bizarre.
Did you dare him?
I told him I didn't want. I don't. None of us want him to do it. But like I don't even know how it transpired. This was so long ago. But like we were. And see, here's the thing, and you know this.
Dare me to fuck this stuffed animal?
You know this that as
No.
like younger guys and or like this wasn't like late in high school. This was early, you know, sophomore year or something like that. But I remember we had a friend Eddie, and like I used to hang out at his house all the time, and this is how guys are. Like you're young, you're kind of like you're going through puberty, and you're fucking.
And you're
And
weird.
We used to go bowling all the time. Me and Eddie would go bowling at least every day or every 2 days with
Bowling with Eddie.
bowling, and they always had the condoms in the bathroom for like a quarter.
Spaghetti
Oh, yeah.
Eddie
And I
bowl.
remember we all bought a condom. No reason to, but we all bought one. And we decided that we were going to go back to the house, and we were like, dude, let's go into the bathroom one at a time and let's try them on, see what it feels like, dude. Because, you know, we weren't having sex. And so we went in there, and supposedly, like, we all tried them on. You know, like, apparently everybody did. And there's like, you just try to get a little mini bone, and you just put it on. And you're just like, cool, man. This is what it's it's stupid. But but see, that's the thing. Think about it, a time period where you never had a condom on, and you thought, you know what I'm saying? You're like, what does this feel like? What, you know,
We
like,
got to practice sometime.
yeah,
you know,
man, the banana's not effective. You know what I'm saying?
Banana. Oh,
You know what I'm talking
put
about.
it on a banana.
I never
mean,
did that.
No, they did in school though. Like that's how they showed you in you know, sex ed. They put it a little
Yeah.
But my point is like, so you're weird. Like boys are weird. But this guy took it to another level, man. It was a weird
He was,
situation.
he was trying to bring other people into his weirdness.
You know what's even weirder?
Well, it's
bro?
funny because
Oh.
like I know who he's married to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Do they get that fucking kinky?
I
that
don't
kinky
know.
stinky going on?
He was a different dude. He was the guy that only wore Jankos. You remember for many, many years.
Oh yes,
The
yes,
biggest.
He was a Janko warrior.
Listen, he's not a bad guy,
Fuck,
but
if
that
he
was a
still
weird
has
time.
some of those, he's probably filthy rich.
You know what's crazy though? This is a side story, but his parents are different. But his dad had a pretty insane Nazi collection.
Really?
Yes, sir.
What?
World War II collection, but there was a lot of like Nazi memorabilia and like helmets with like a bullet hole in it, and like, and we were just like, whoa, like, wow, this. But,
Wow.
And now that I'm looking back, I'm like, what was that? You know what I mean? Like,
You're
what?
like, is he secretly a Nazi?
He was definitely talking to his dad, and I knew his dad before and a little bit after, but he was a war veteran, and it wasn't just Nazi stuff, but he collected different war shit,
lot
World
of it,
War
yeah.
One, World War II, Japanese memorabilia, and he did have like Nazi memorabilia, and I remember seeing it like, wow, that's like really insane that you actually have that stuff, but he did.
Did he have it like in a shrine?
He had
was like,
a, if I remember right, he
stuff?
had a whole room, like an office, but it was just
Yeah.
full of like, different like weapons that weren't in use anymore, but like a lot of memorabilia shit, patches,
It's just
and
one of-
swords. And
Was it like just one of those situations where you walked in there and you're like, am I legally allowed to be in here?
I was too young, but I was just like, I just thought it was like really weird and interesting, and that was his thing, And I'm sure that stuff's worth a lot of money, man.
Oh,
To be honest with
probably.
you, it's probably worth a lot. But you get that weird thing where people have that, and you think immediately like, why do you have that? You know what I mean? But I don't
Exactly.
think that's what it was. I know it's.
well,
not
it's
what
like
it
the cop who found the evidence in the O.J. Simpson trial. Remember
yeah.
how they secretly found out, or they found out that he was secretly like this neo-Nazi. He had a shrine to the Hitler and all this stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Come on now.
Damn.
What are
dude.
the odds?
Dude, I was watching the new episode of Joe Rogan today on my lunch, and on the way to work, lunch, and then on the way home, and it's interesting, dude. The dude's Christopher Dunn. He's talking about the pyramids,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a theory that the pyramid was a machine. And
Oh, I've heard this.
yeah, but this is a little different though. He actually explains how, and it's pretty fucking interesting because like even like Rogan's on there, it's like it's really odd to me that this makes so much sense. Like that it's not just some tomb. But he's talking about that he brings up that they
It's a chemical plant. Is
Yes,
this what it is?
Kind of. Well, yeah. So
this guy was on Tinfoil Hat years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this, dude. It's
yeah.
like
But this
it does make sense that this is what the pyramids are.
But
used
listen,
for.
nothing against Tinfoil Hat, but I feel like Joe Rogan's better at talking and asking questions. So like the way it's broke down with the slides and shit, he brought a lot of slides, and he's showing a lot of photos, and it's like, dude, it's like pretty. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
it does.
Dude. He
Right?
doesn't know what it's
like
used
the
for.
ammonia, like they would have like cow shit, and that's why they
No.
worship the cows because like all this stuff.
There's nothing about that. It's
They didn't put cow shit in there.
No, he was saying that there's in the basement there would be like a kind of like a Tesla style thing that vibrates the pyramids, to match the earth, and then in the Queen's chamber they would fill it with chemicals to produce hydrogen, and then that hydrogen would leak up, like it would get to a certain point and go into the King's chamber. Okay, and then and the King's chamber has the two shafts, in and out shaft. And that shaft would collect, microwaves. They would have like a different, structure outside that would like point the microwaves into the shaft, which would, build up this stuff with the hydrogen. And then the other chamber would be able to release that energy. And basically he's like, you could basically almost make like a laser with it. But he's saying
It
that
sounds like it was almost like a power plant.
yes. And so he was saying that because they had the gold cap and the size of the pyramid, actually, he was claiming they're not actually straight. They bend in to the middle. So he's like, with the shiny reflective original material that was on the pyramids and the gold cap, he was saying that Tesla had a theory that you could produce electricity and have it run through the earth without wires. And so he's like, it makes so much sense that this could do that. And maybe that's how they were able to generate power for other things.
Yeah, and people ground themselves all the time. I mean, if you've heard about grounding your bed,
Oh yeah, there are people that have like their sheets and stuff that are like grounding sheets and like.
but
shit
dude, like some people are hardcore. Like they'll put a roll, like a rod, like 6 feet in the ground, wrap it with copper, have that wire go all the way into their house, and then wrap that all the way around their bed, and then put their sheet just over that wire, and then they'll lay on that.
Okay.
I'm like, that's pretty fucking hardcore.
It's pretty hardcore. But I'm not going to dog it. Yeah, I never. Maybe it means something. I don't.
What if that rod gets struck by lightning?
That's what I'm thinking, dude. I'm like, what if you get like fucking? What if you get electrocuted?
You just get toasted.
But there was this guy who said that he like cured all of his inflammation by doing that, and he even went to doctors. Doctors were stunned, and he showed all the pictures of his infrared inflammation gone.
Yeah, I've heard.
Like,
I've heard people talk about grounding and stuff too lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was definitely interesting, man. It was, and I ended it when I pulled into the driveway. I stopped at the perfect time. He goes, I was asked by another scientist. He's like, what do you think if we could renovate the pyramids and recreate the power again? And it kind of made me think as I was walking in, I was like, man, what if that was built the way it was? So like indestructible, like literally, like that thing's been around for 4,500 years. It's like been through, not hurricanes. It's been through like, earthquakes, sandstorms. What if they built that for us to harness again at some day, and we could go and figure that out and actually test it and create the energy that the earth needs, man? Because they have,
make micro versions of it.
Exactly.
Like who's to say we haven't done that in labs? And I've seen stuff even on History Channel where you've had miniature pyramids float. Like there was a guy who was able to, like, he put it on a centrifuge, like spin it, and it was able to like lift off the ground, and like it was turning in midair. Like he did some weird shit with it.
Maybe that's what it was. Man. Because, and that's the thing, is it's a combination of the whole thing. And I think when we were growing up and we heard that, well, the king's chamber, and it has these openings so that the soul could get to the stars. I remember hearing that when I was in middle school, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like this is a passage for them. But no, it makes more sense that, like, and as Joe said, he's like, why, it never made sense why they put so much effort into this just for a fucking tomb.
Well, exactly. I don't think it was probably for us to rediscover and use it. I think it was probably they built it to fucking last. Like it would, like almost like that process would never go away.
But my point is what if it's the key to us, kind of having that new evolution of ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we could get it to work, and it did work, and we had this endless energy that was just like insane?
It would depend on how much it actually produced.
I don't know.
Well, you got to think about, that is a fucking desert out there, bro. I mean, there's not a lot going on. So if you had the power to produce something that could, I don't know, create
lights,
rain, create lights, create stuff that will make stuff grow, like, because the ammonia is what I was talking about. I know that there's different pyramids for different chemicals.
Sure.
Right. And so like the ammonia one was what they would shove the poop into.
Sure.
And once the poop kind of evaporates, all the ammonia floats up to the top, because as the gas goes up to the top, it becomes more concentrated.
Okay.
And so they would have stuff that could collect that up at the top too, and kind of redistribute it and like circulate it. You know what I mean? It's been a while since I've listened to the episode, but
yeah, maybe that's for the second and third, because this was primarily about the largest pyramid. Of the three, there's the big one. You know what I'm saying? The big, and I don't know the name, so forgive me, but
Big Dipper.
Yeah, sure, man. But yeah, he was saying that there's like these metal brackets at the top of the one of the chambers, and it's almost as like they're conductors. He's like, they almost seem like switches. And so when that hydrogen, that fluid, that chemical mix becomes hydrogen, as it would fill up into the chambers, it would get to that switch, and it would trigger the switch because the current could run through that water. And he's like, I don't know what it did or why they had it, but it makes sense that would trigger. And once it went down, it would the switch would stop, basically, right? So they knew that they had to do more, do something, add something. And it's just like it just all these things. And then the way that the tunnel bends into 4 different directions. A lot of scientists apparently are agreeing that, like, if you're bringing in like a laser, or if you're bringing in microwaves, that 4 turns that tunnel would take is how they would, define the it's enough with mirrors and stuff that they could actually direct the laser exactly where they needed it to go, or their microwaves exactly where it needed to go. It's a weird concept, bro, but there's something about that pyramid that's like, I just don't believe the things that we've always been told about it. I can't have a hard time with it, because it's just so grand. It makes no sense to do all that work, thousands and thousands of people doing it,
just as a burial site.
Fucking burial site.
Not only, I mean, we assume we know how it was built, but we have no fucking idea how it was built.
Man. We have no clue. But he was talking about the boring as well. He was talking about the holes that they were able to bore, and that was the first part of the podcast. Was really about, like, did they have something other than brass? You know what I'm saying? Copper and brass. Like, did they actually have, steel and other things that they were able to use?
If there was metal brackets in the ceilings. And
they think they're brass on those ones, but a lot of the stuff that they did find that had steel, if you would, or iron was meteorites. They actually were able to use meteorites for and chip those away.
Conductors and shit.
Something.
I wonder if if those little metal pieces were brass. I wonder if they were fuses.
It's possible, dude. It's weird. What if what if we it's like something off of Ghostbusters, like all of a sudden it fucking lights up and a fucking laser. What if it's the beacon? I've heard that one where that it produces a laser that shoots up and it's this powerful
fucking
laser.
Beam me up, Scotty.
And that's the fucking identifier for, other worldly things.
Communications.
That we're, ready to land, baby. It's a
Dude,
lighthouse.
here, I found like a 2-minute, 3-minute video. I'm going to share it with you. Chris, I'll just send it in a link, but it's Ancient Aliens, okay?
Oh, shit. We're going to see old weird
But it's
hair.
talking about pyramid power
aliens,
plants. I don't know. I mean, this isn't like
Talking about
Christopher Dunn.
Talking about power plants?
Yeah, so it's talking about like how pretty much the same thing, like the Giza pyramids once could have functioned as like a power plant,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very interesting. Like,
it is
when
interesting. It is.
You go, can we try this? Like, can we not like
I don't know why
quarantine it off and like actually do this experiment?
I don't know why they don't, man.
Oh, this is
They
from
don't
the,
wanna-
this is
they
from
don't
the
want us
show.
to know.
We might get a copyright for this.
Oh, it's from the show.
Yeah, we'll
well,
get a
then don't play
We'll
it.
get a copyright for playing this. It's from the History Channel.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, regardless, look into it, man. I think that we've seen stuff before, and you're right. I do now remember kind of talking about him before, and I knew that his name sounded familiar, but he kind of had I think he's more refined. He's like, I had all this information, but I wasn't able to piece these things together before. So maybe that's what he was talking about, but he's got new slides and kind of some new things that he's kind of spurred up a little bit. And it's weird to think that like we discredit them as not having, good technology or good information just based off of how old it is. But fuck, man, it's hard to look at that whole era and not see all these things that are like incredible. And
Well, I think the problem is when you have all these scientists and archaeologists and people, they're looking at things through the scope of what we know today.
yeah.
So anything other than what we already know, they're not going to look at because they're like, we don't know that. How would they know that? But
And if there's any hidden knowledge or if there's any like way to measure something that was taken away from us or it's being hidden, and you can only perform these activities if you do it this certain way, then like no one will know. Like you can have the smartest person on earth and be like, oh yeah, it's not possible because we just don't have the
and if
tools to
like
do it.
the same thing with like what's his name, that fucking guy
Graham
Hancock, who's like has
Clint
a bunch of different fucking variations of how he looks at things. But then mainstream archaeology is like, we've never seen that anywhere else, so that's not what it is. Well, how do you fucking know that's not what it is?
What he said in that interview, and that blew my mind. Because that's where Rogan was like, you're not telling me this is weird? This looks fucking man-made. This looks weird. And the guy's like, well, we've just never seen anything in history that shows this. So, we just can't compare it to anything, so we believe that it's not. And it's like, but there's things that we don't understand, and you're just going to bypass that because you've never seen it elsewhere in history. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are going to be things that
how do you
never
ever
seen.
discover anything ever that we don't understand if you don't accept it for being
So
new?
Graham Hancock was being like
Graham Hancock.
because he
was
Joe
trying
Rogan.
to say this is man-made underwater shit.
Yeah.
And the other guy that was like debating him was like, we've never seen this anywhere else in the world, so that's not. It's not
there's a
Joe
debate now.
Joe Rogan set up a debate with Graham Hancock and some guy named Clint something or other, and he's an archaeologist, and his father was an archaeologist, and they had this debate because this dude said that Graham's kind of a fringe fucking weirdo, and so they had a debate, and it was long as fuck, and it was very interesting. And I'm not saying the guy had no good points, but Graham was showing him these images of like, look at this, tool looking thing, and it looks man-made, and it does look man-made. And the guy's like, and Joe was like, you don't find that interesting, man? Like to Clint. And he's like, not really. Nope. It's just Joe. We've never seen anything like that from any other site. So there's nothing to, it's a rock, And so it's like, how do you just say that you've never seen something? So that just immediately means that it doesn't exist. It never did exist. What if that was the norm before you realized that was the norm?
What if that was the one thing that brings you into a whole nother realm of fucking archaeology?
Yeah.
Well, dude, that's how science works.
I know.
Like you start out making a guess, like an educated guess. You don't know. You just go find out stuff, and then everything is kind of a mystery that you solve.
But see, that's the thing.
Dude, I just sent you a picture, Chris. So, like, I know we couldn't, like, watch the video, but this is kind of like a picture that describes what they were describing in the video.
Okay.
And where you have literally like a quartzite chamber, you have this reaction chamber, you got a drain, you got the frickin' microwave signals and all this shit.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, how do they get the microwave to come in through those holes? Because those are little tiny holes, right? Because there's little tiny holes within the sides of the pyramids.
Yeah,
right?
they're decent holes. And that's actually what he was talking about. Good point, by the way, showing this. Because he was saying that the way that those holes are actually shaped are kind of interesting. It's like almost like a glove. Like it there's something there that maybe, I don't know. But he was saying that there could have been something on the outside of the pyramid or on a different structure that would kind of, take those because it's microwaves from like space, from Earth, you know what I'm saying? And it would take those and direct them into the holes. So think of the Sphinx or something else that had maybe some mirror on it that was directing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, what if it's a mirror directing the light?
Yeah.
Just instead of a microwave using light energy,
But it was something about microwave. I don't know. I kind of was taking a quick nap on my lunch, and that was when they were going through that. So I kind of caught
maybe
it,
it's the position of the sun. Like, does the sun directly go over and shine through that one time of the day, and then on the other side?
And then just in those moments, it like harnesses that energy and creates what they need, and then they use that until the next time.
Yeah, he breaks
it's just
this,
like self-replicating.
Yeah. He breaks this down. It's a lot more interesting than that. Like the sun thing is not what he was describing at all. This is something that they could harness basically all day long. These microwaves. And I don't remember, again, I didn't catch the part where he kind of really described how they were collecting those, but he was just saying that like there could have been, and it makes sense that they were able to. Once all these things came together as one, it could possibly produce some kind of an energy. He brought up lasers, but he was saying it could just be like an electricity source that they could, ground into the earth and basically have Wi-Fi electricity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't
it just
know.
comes up and
I don't know what they would be. If like where it says right there, like microwave output, that would be like the laser thing going out, right?
Yeah.
It's like pointing. It's just pointing off in this fucking sky. Like, I don't know what that would even be used for.
Yeah.
So it would make more sense that they were making some kind of power that they could harness, and that necessarily wasn't like a laser, but maybe like an exhaust of like maybe stuff like some After Effects shit that they didn't use.
No, see, the way he, like, and again, yes, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying the way he described it, and I wish I was smart enough to kind of iterate what he said, but the way he described it, I was like, fuck, that's actually really interesting. Like, and he had some really interesting slides. Even Jamie was on there, which he doesn't speak a lot, but he was just like, there were so many great slides on here that we're just not going to get to, because he brought over like 150 slides. And Jamie was going through them during the show. And he's like, geez, man, like, this is some interesting shit. And Joe's like, well, we'll get to it. And the guy's like, I might have a heart attack if we keep going this long. Because it was like 3 hours, 2.5 hours. But
we're going to have to cut it off. It's May, it's masturbation month. I have some wanking to do.
I mean, he was more lively than Joe Biden, but he was definitely an older gentleman. So
yeah,
it's crazy shit, man. But like,
then this must be a different guy than the tinfoil hat guy.
This is an old man. He is old.
Yeah, the guy I was talking about is a little bit younger, but nonetheless, he did like his whole thesis on it, went over there, did a bunch of experiments saying that they were chemical plants.
Can you see him?
Yeah, that's a different guy.
Yeah, he's British, which always sells a good point. You know what I'm saying?
Put it back up there.
If you're British,
he's smarter because he's British.
You just sound like you know what the hell you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, check this dude out, man. He was actually, he's an interesting dude, man. And he's been doing it for a long time, but he was talking about how in the 60s, in 1969, he came from Britain, and he was recruited for like doing some like aerospace stuff. And that's kind of how he got started. But he did like lathe and like machinery for whatever. But he's a smart guy. I mean, it's like an interesting theory, but they're like, well, are you willing to debate? And he's like, I'm too old to debate. I don't want a yelling match. I just want to put this out there. If you want to like look into it more, that's basically what he was saying. He's like, I'm not interested in having debates with people. Like, I'm giving you all the information I have. And if somebody wants to run with it and try to take it farther, I would be more than happy with that. So it's good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, there definitely is something different that we're not understanding about those things.
For
like,
sure.
Like you said, they're the only thing on the planet fucking like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it's almost like, because think about the Library of Alexandria that was burned to the ground with all of this ancient knowledge.
Yeah.
Whereas we were told that it was burned to the ground, but a lot of people will theorize that many of the artifacts and the knowledge that was taken from Alexandria now lives in the Vatican Library.
Mm.
So you have people that might know this stuff and they might know how the pyramids actually work, but why do they not want other people to know? Because then you have self-reliance, right? You have people that won't need to buy energy from the government or from the PUD or whoever your electric service is.
Yeah.
They have, gas is, our only but the only like substance we have to fuel our cars.
Yeah.
And it has been forever. Like, we have all of these technological kind of advancements except for gas, So I think it's coming. I think eventually we'll get to this alternate fuel source, maybe hydrogen, maybe nuclear. I don't know what, but I think it's definitely within the next 50 years, we're going to not be using a lot of gas.
Yeah, I just feel like why change what works? I think that's always been my argument with gas. Like, it works. The machinery that like the actual engines can become better and better. And we've seen that over 40 years. I guess the biggest argument would be you could spend your money on something else.
Like, if you have something that will provide you unlimited energy for your car, for your house, like, I get it. Like, it's a business model because people have to, they need to buy gas to drive places. They need to have electricity for their house. So, like, out of necessity, you're forcing people to buy these things because they will. That's why you can raise the price of gas to over $10 a gallon in some places, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, without doing that, what could you spend your money on other than what you need to? Like, you could buy more food, you could buy like stuff that'll make you happy. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, I think that no matter what, like, something else will take over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something becomes cheaper and affordable and like, or a new source comes through, they figure out a way to fucking finagle that as well. Like, tax the shit out of it. There's always some way for them to make more from it. I mean, I don't know that there ever will be a free source of energy. You know what I'm saying? Without the government absolutely destroying that and being like, well, it's not free. I mean, water is all over the earth. I understand that there's salt in that water and we can't drink it, but water is literally like everywhere, but we still pay for that shit. We still pay for it.
Well, there was a time in this country where we didn't have federal taxes. We didn't have income taxes. We didn't have taxes.
For sure, man. For sure.
So hopefully we can get back to that point. I don't know if it's like just a solvable thing with a click of a finger, but I mean, we fought for this country to get to where we wouldn't have to pay taxes on shit. I mean, it's like, what, 30% of our income goes to taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like borderline communism right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're pretty much a socialist country at this point. When it comes to taxes.
It sucks that, like, I really don't have an issue with taxes, but what I have the issue with is that I have no choice on what they're doing with it. Like, that's my issue.
That's the problem.
And
that is
like,
exactly the problem.
And we've talked about this in nauseam before, and I thought we had some really fun ideas about it. But, like, it's just, I don't care about putting my money towards something that's going to benefit the community around me. But the problem is it rarely goes to the stuff that benefits the community around me. Right. And
well, that's what people should have the option is, like, if I pay my taxes, I want it to go to my local city. I want it to go to my school, like my kid's school. I want it to go to like things that will help me and my family, not.
And that's what I was
people
saying.
that I've never met.
Can you imagine a point, like when we were talking about this long time ago, can you imagine a point where when you do your taxes, you have a list of 100 different things? There's a list of all the different amenities that the city needs. And you're required to have a minimum of like 10 checked off. Like, you have to have at least 10 different compartmentalized, things that your tax money goes to. So you get this list, and one's like LGBTQ fucking studies. check that fucking off. I don't want that shit. Fire department. Yep, I'll take some fire department. I'll take the police force. You know what I'm saying? Education, absolutely. Let's go. Schools. If you're worried about the homeless issues, you want to have better, check that shit off. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you want, but you have to have 10, and your money gets put into that shit. Now, if no one fucking pays for the fucking LGBTQ shit, that fucking just falls off the map. It's too fucking bad. You don't get the funding for it for no reason. People have to agree that they want to put the money towards that. And you know what? The truth is some people will put the money towards that.
No.
Exactly.
And so however much you get is based on how many people are willing to donate to your cause. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That is the popular vote. Like when you're saying like vote with your money, like taxes, if you're saying like people have, because like look through donations, you know what I mean? Like people donate to things that they care about.
Yes, they do.
We should be paying our taxes towards things that we care
Well,
about.
Yes,
I also think you shouldn't.
should.
If you're going down that road where you can choose what the money gets distributed to,
Mhm.
I also think you shouldn't be forced to pay into it. I think
No,
if you get the check 10 of these off, then however much money you put into the taxes is how many checkoffs you get to have.
There has to be strong incentives
there
to
would
do it
be
that way, though.
thresholds. Like
I don't get what you're saying. Sorry.
so, like it say you paid $10,000 that year in taxes. You get the 10 checkoffs. If you put only $1,000 in taxes that year, you only get one. You get to choose one thing you get to put money to. You don't get a choice. Whatever happens with the rest of it is you have to live with because you didn't put into it.
Or you don't even get to choose one.
No,
Like if you don't put money in, you don't choose where it goes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that it should always like we're getting down this road of like this is an actual thing. I actually like it. No, but what I'm saying is like if you only paid $1,000 in taxes, right, which is very, very low, but say you only had $1,000 in taxes, I still feel like you should have to choose 10, and your $1,000 gets separated in 10, so $100 a piece goes to that fund. You know what I'm saying? Because you still have to pick, and those and other like things that are decided on whatever the other kind of departments.
So what if you choose not to pay any?
What if you mean everybody pays taxes? I mean, really, unless you're absolutely shit poor, you're not paying taxes.
Well, right now, yeah. But I mean, if we're divvying this up the way like it's the people's fucking choice, if you choose, you don't want to participate in it.
You don't want to pay taxes.
Don't care what happens.
So that's where I was saying there has to be some strong incentives to participate in the taxes.
Well, yeah, you can't call 911 if your house burns down. You're not allowed to call the fire department.
There you go. Yeah,
no, seriously. Like if you don't want to
save
pay,
your ass.
if you don't want to pay for amenities, you do not get to take those amenities. That's how it should be.
Harsh, but hey,
No,
I agree.
the truth is no, I don't, and this is just me, right? I understand that some people are anti-tax period, like, and I get that too. If there was just, I think there would be a way more incentive to provide to all that shit if there was only just one tax you had to pay. If there wasn't like a tax on your income, but there also if you didn't have to pay property taxes, and then you didn't have to pay taxes on your food, you didn't have to pay taxes on this, you didn't have to pay taxes on this over here. If everything wasn't taxed and then taxed again and then taxed again, every time you fucking the part
do it,
that annoys me.
Dude, your tax return is taxed.
yeah.
That's the part
shit?
that annoys me. Is not for me personally. It's not that I have to pay taxes because, and especially if I got the choice, I would really appreciate that. But the fact that tax on top of tax on top of tax is fucking annoying. It should be. You should have every item should be taxed one fucking time.
Yeah, like
Well, it's not just annoying; it's illegal.
It's illegal.
Just like with your
People
house.
need to realize
like
that.
we sold houses recently in the last year or two.
You pay taxes.
So you pay taxes the whole time you fucking are buying this house. You finally say you get your house fucking paid off, and then you're like, okay, this is awesome, but we decided we want to move somewhere. You sell your house, and now you got to pay taxes on your shit again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
an even larger sum.
But I do like. I mean, listen.
Did you say come? It's
Yes, I did.
masturbation
It is
month, so I
masturbation.
decided my mind won.
An even larger cum. Yeah.
The problem is like the theory of it is good. I actually like the idea of like getting to choose and like you have a book, basically a fucking little pamphlet that has all the different amenities that the county offers or the city offers, and you get to choose. And maybe there's even like a top tier, right? Where let's say 30% or 40% of all the money goes into that top tier. Those are the most important things. Those are the police force, schooling, yada yada yada. Like all the main stuff that like everybody really needs in the community. And then you have to pick 3 off the lower one, which is like, homeless, help, or let's say like feeding children, or like the shelters.
Feeding children.
Well, I'm saying like, if there's like a program that like feeds kids, that are hungry, or like whatever. I'm just saying like the women's shelters, there's all those lower level amenities that are very useful to some people. And you could decide, I want to donate to the women's shelter, right? For people that are abused. You can. If you want to donate to something else, so be it. Like homeless, so be it. Poop cleanup for San Francisco, so be it. But you get to choose. You choose
safer working conditions for street hookers and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But wouldn't that incentivize those getting the money to do better, because they go, shit, if I don't perform better, I won't get the tax money. People won't want to put their money back into my program because they don't see the fruits of my labor.
Bro, that's 100% it, man. That's like capitalism, right? Because here's the thing. If they can show people that, like, listen, money that you do give us actually does good things, and here's why. Yeah, people would say, listen, man, this new homeless program is excellent. There's actually less people on the fucking street.
that would end up having to be on whatever pamphlet was made.
Sure,
because you'd say, okay, these are the list of fucking organizations that are asking for tax money to be able to provide whatever services they do.
Yep,
this is what they've accomplished in the last year.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, you need to see all that.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's what. I mean, people paying taxes right now are forced to pay something into a void.
Yep.
And they are not seeing any fruits of any labor. They're just seeing shit.
Well,
literally shit.
That's true. True in some aspects. I mean, I think that's like, I think we do see things, and we probably take those things for granted because we just have them all the time. Like
we end up seeing things like Obamacare.
Yeah, that shit's bullshit. But I think like when you look at like, most places, some places have like, functioning roads, stop signs. We have police forces. We have fire departments. We have, we have like amenities that we all use when we need to, and we don't really think about those things. I think the problem is there's a lot of tax money going to shit that we see as like ineffective.
Well, nobody gives a fuck about
exactly.
Portland, Oregon with homeless has spent so much money. San Francisco has spent like $1 billion on trying to do the homeless. California spent billions of dollars on the homeless, and there's literally it's got worse. And so that's the problem, is this like that kind of shit's what like makes people perk up and be like, what the fuck are you doing with all this fucking cash? Are you even spending it on homeless?
They're pocketing it.
They're pocketing the shit for sure.
Well, that's the problem, dude. And like where Bitcoin or digital currency could come into value is having the receipts for all that shit, right? Where you can itemize the list for all of the tax spending, put it under a bucket, be like, here's everything that we spent money on, go at it. You know what I mean? Everything's captured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that digital currency is the way to go. I think it's the fucking devil. I don't ever want to do that. But that's where I could see, because you could always lie with a digital currency too. Be like, oh, let's insert a row here.
Well, see, yeah.
Sure, I spent it.
And the other thing is they could easily say, like, if you were tracking that cash and it was going to some other program, you'd be like, what the fuck? They'd be like, well, no. We just like, we all put it in a pool, and then it fucking, we send off X amount to this one and X amount to this one.
No more pooling.
I don't know, man. But I don't know how we got on this, but I couldn't agree more, man. Like the taxing is fucked. It's fucked. And I think that like, I'm cool with paying taxes. I don't want to say we should pay taxes. I'm cool with paying taxes if I'm seeing something that benefits me and it's worthwhile. Like that's how I look at it. If I can drive on safe roads and we have less crime because the police are doing their job and my kids have great schools, which they do right now, I'm okay with that shit. I'm okay paying for that shit. But fuck,
that would be
other stuff.
I mean, Greg, you've made the perfect point out of that whole thing. Like that would incentivize every aspect of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because if they don't prove their point, no one's going to pay into it.
Yeah.
And
that's what's the problem with government is there's no competition in the government. Yeah. It's like they are going to do it no matter what, and they know they're going to do it, and they know they have zero competition, so they can be lazy fucks about it.
Yeah.
They don't have to perform like they need to.
Yeah. We just need to get rid of
people happy.
Federal taxes. That's what we need to get rid of. Like if we have local taxes, so be it, man. Like we're staying in the community. It's all for the community.
You mean you don't want to send all your money over to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan?
Yeah,
and all?
See, that's what you could do that too. So like the federal government could get its operating cash from whatever exports and tariffs and that kind of shit. And then local governments would be what we described.
Yeah. The more that we could keep our money local, and local government. I think that's where the future is like keeping things local and like minimizing it to the local areas you're in.
And at
It's
that
gonna
point,
prevent a lot of
because
shit.
it was kept local, that would keep way more money in everybody's pockets
Mm.
instead of
You
it
know,
just
it's
doing for the
it
whole
comes-
fucking country.
Yeah, it all comes back to morality, though. I mean, people are willing to sell out their city, their family, their church in order to get rich, dude. Like, they will abandon their principles to make a buck. And that's what we need to change. And how do you change that? I don't know. You better get religious really quick. I don't know.
You'd have to have. You definitely have to have like an honest checks and balances system, because they could say, "Oh, we accomplished this, and they could tell you whatever they wanted. You'd have to have you'd have to develop a system to put in place to be able to keep track and keep all those fucking things in line.
But
too.
see, look at this situation was it Detroit or somewhere around Detroit, that gal that was spending all that money and shit. And people, like, she's like the mayor, and she was like taking money and like putting it towards these crazy programs and shit. And the whole city council's like, we need to get this bitch out of here. She's fucking crazy. They were able to do that because it was local. You know what I'm saying? They all seen what was going on. They saw that the money was being spent in fraudulent ways, and they fucking gave her the boot, if I'm not mistaken. And that could happen because it's local.
Yeah.
Once you start getting into the federal level, good luck getting rid of these fucking corrupt people. They just have too much power, and they have too much, like, they can easily manipulate the votes and stay in a seat for longer. Like, Nancy Pelosi has no fucking business at all being in what she's in, but she still is. I mean, not, you go and say,
yeah,
but she
I
has
think term limits would help with the whole like corruption stuff,
Sure.
but I think like no matter what, I mean, 4 years is a long time.
Well, I mean,
you can be corrupted in a weekend.
True.
Doesn't take that long.
But I mean, as long as they've all been there, like, they've had plenty of time to sink their teeth in.
Yeah.
If you only give them a certain
all
amount of
that
time,
does-
you can't make all those fucking connections and pathways to all the different shit they're involved in.
I mean, sure you can. You could be like, hey, I'm out the door. Here's my new guy. Here's how it's going to work. You do this or your family's going to get killed. I mean, that's extreme.
Well,
you could just be like, hey, here's how it's going to happen. If you don't like it, you're out. And we'll get somebody in here who will do this.
I think term limits is a huge step in the right direction, but I think it needs to go much farther than that. I think if you're in office, your finances need to be scrutinized, period, dude. As far as I'm concerned. If you have,
that and your families, right?
Like, you have to disclose what, you and your immediate family at minimum, dude. Like, right, money transferring, how wealthy did you get? Where did that fucking money come from? And how can you prove that it wasn't but you shouldn't be allowed to trade, in my personal opinion. And that's a thing, like, where
stocks.
they say, because they say, we're Americans, we should be able to trade. But if you sign up and you want to run and you get the position, that's just one of the downfalls. It's no different than like, I got this job that I got to work until 8:00 and I don't get to see my family as long in the day, but that's part of the gig. And so part of the gig for being in office and having a seat is, unfortunately, you don't get a trade while you're in that office.
Yeah,
so if you don't like it, don't fucking, it's a huge conflict.
I would almost make a change to where if you get elected into that position as a representative, you no longer you don't move to Washington, D.C. and fucking live in Washington, D.C. and be at the fucking White House 24 hours a day. You have to keep your normal life, but when it comes time to vote or do things, it's kind of like a jury duty type thing where you can even do it from home virtually, but or you can go there and can be like a per diem type thing where you get paid while you're doing the job that it's required, and then you go back to your fucking life.
Dude, just put on the headset, go into Meta World. You know what I mean? That Facebook land.
Yeah, I mean, the technology is here to where to be able to accomplish what needs to be done there, you don't necessarily have to be there.
Yeah.
But I understand the traditional aspect of it. Like, but even then, pay a per diem, like a tax fund could go to a per diem to pay for travels and stays and all that shit to be able to go and vote on stuff. But nobody should be living and working in Washington, D.C. as a representative fucking 365 days a year.
Well, I don't think that's not what it's supposed to be. They just end up going there for long stretches.
Yeah, because they've learned how to manipulate and make it that way.
I'm not sure.
Washington, D.C. is not even a state, so it's like it gets away with a bunch of shit.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, back in the beginning, it was always everyone had to travel and go, and then they got to the thing and they voted on what needed to be done, and then they went back to their fucking jobs and normal life. That's the way it was done before. And then they
I don't
figured
know
out
if
how
that's true. I don't know that
it
that's-
was.
I
And then
don't
they
know.
figured out how to fucking finagle and be able to say,
Finagle!
hey, if we just keep making up shit and we keep proposing bills and we keep doing this 24 all the fucking time, we never have to leave and we can just keep collecting money while we're here.
It's like the news, dude. Like if the news could just go 24/7, we could make so much money. Like, but we gotta come up with stories, you know?
Yeah. I actually
But like, when did Washington D.C. actually become an area? You know, like
I don't know.
what was the foundation? What was the first building ever built in Washington D.C.?
I have no idea, man.
And like, when did it become our capital? You know,
Like why
That's what
was
I
that?
wanna know.
Why was that selected?
well, because it's like super, like the structures and everything is very occult. And I know, like, I don't want to get like all weird on you, but the layouts are they're purposefully designed. I know Thomas Jefferson had a hand in designing the Capitol.
Mm.
And it's just like, when was this all decided? And when did it actually happen? When did it fall into place? That's
Several
what I
other
wanna-
cities served as the U.S. capital before 1800. Philadelphia served as the capital on
Oh, yeah,
5 separate occasions. Blah blah blah. October 6th. I'm trying to think where it was. I don't know. This is a long ass thing on Wikipedia. I don't know. It's a good question though.
But it's called Washington, D.C. So obviously after George Washington, right? I'm assuming.
I'm assuming too.
But
But I
like,
mean,
why District of Columbia? Where did that come in?
scroll down real quick and let's see here. Establish Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution permits the establishment of a quote district not exceeding 10 miles square as may by session of particular states and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of the government of the United States. However, the Constitution does not specify a location for the capital. I don't know.
Mm.
So it's like Columbia, but like district was what they permitted. A 10-mile radius was allowed for the government area, so something to that effect.
So it's a 10-mile radius?
Apparently,
Yeah.
that's what it says.
But DC is like humongous, right?
DC is not that big, I don't think, actually.
Yeah.
But it's bigger than 10-mile radius. Ain't it?
Well, I mean, LA's, but is LA really LA or is it Anaheim? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you can have conjoining cities that are literally just the same fucking city, but they call it Anaheim. Montgomery and Conroe is literally the same fucking place, and it's like, oh, this is the Montgomery line. Like you're
there was something that I saw about the
Oh yeah,
stones,
it says
like-
Washington D.C. has a geographical area of 68.3 miles.
square miles.
holy shyster. Yeah, that's a little bit bigger than 10.
Well, sure is.
But like I saw this thing about
10% of it is water.
oh, okay.
Not that
So 6 miles is water ish.
as a 6.9 square miles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually interesting. It'd be interesting to look that up, man. Because like
Yeah.
all the history we
Well,
learned in
so-
school, it's like, why did they choose that?
I watched something about like when I was briefly looking at the history of the United States Capitol and all that stuff, there were these, I forget what the word is called, like a cornerstone, something that you lay in the ground, like a huge chunk of cement, right?
Okay.
And it's like this, it sticks out of the cement. They're all over the city in random spots now because like they were grown over, people like built stuff over them. I think one was found in someone's house. And it's like it was meant to encompass the circle where the Capitol
Of
would
what
have been.
Washington D.C. was, yeah.
And like it just fucking
Yeah,
They
because
just
they
extended
initially
over
said
that.
we're going to do 10 square miles. We're giving you this district for the government. And you know how the government is. Like, that's not enough, though. Can we get 12?
We just need to be a
Can
little
we-
bit bigger.
Can we get 20?
what are you doing, Bob? You're outside of the stone.
Yeah, man.
Oh, don't worry, it'll only be a week. A month later.
Yeah.
There's no easy solution to anything we talked about. It's just a matter of like, you have to get the ball rolling at some point. Like, I'm not expecting an overnight change, but like some nice positive change would be good. Let's start with
I
term
mean,
limits.
there definitely could
Let's-
be overnight changes that
Yeah,
would
but-
be very significant.
There could be a number,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is like, you have to, I think it has to be thought out. It has to be like, step by step by step by step and just continue making those steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fragile. The whole thing's fragile. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's a fragile system. And you know what I mean? Like, you got to try to get it in the right path. And hopefully some of those things where like let's say you're not allowed to trade stocks. Well, maybe some certain corrupt people will just go into stock trading and be corrupt there instead of going into government and trying to manipulate that. You know what I'm saying? But like, there has to be something to like.
Well, I feel like that would be better.
Yeah, if they said you couldn't trade.
No, if they just went into stocks and into the stock world and was corrupt there instead of in our government, I would say that's a win.
People go where money comes to them for, easy. And so these politicians have easy money coming. They have all the inside knowledge. They make money doing it. And why would they not? Right. And so like, how do you get the corrupt ones to not do that because it's easy money? And people that really want to make the government better and are willing to take, the whatever pay it is, that are fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm cool. I'm doing something that's positive for there are people that would do that. I do think that, but they don't want to be in this shit.
I do have to say that's one thing that I do respect about God, who's the guy who ran for like Congress but lost? He's like an Indian dude, really smart. He like went to like MIT. He said he created the internet. But he's kind of a jackass. He's kind of rude. He says the F word a lot. You motherfucker! You fucker! I'm like, whoa.
I don't know. I don't remember what his name is.
Well, anyway, that guy, when he was running, he was like, like I have a career, I have a job, I want to keep my job, I want to keep working and do this, but I want to serve as like a civil servant, and then do my duties. But then when I'm done, I want to return to my job because I love what I do. And it's just like one of those things where he was saying, that's what Congress used to be. That's what like our government was built on. It was like the man of the people for the people.
And that's where,
it was the people running the government.
Yeah, but that's where I disagree. We don't need to get into it. But that's where I disagree with Chris. Is that like if you're serving, I feel like you need to put your attention towards serving. I feel like it's like managing a company, and it's a massive company. Like,
but then Dr. Shiva, that's who it was. Shiva, whatever the fuck.
But then you get disconnected.
No, I don't think you see. But the problem is you get disconnected.
It's the same thing with like managers of fucking companies. They get disconnected from what's actually happening on the floor.
No.
Well, so they still get communications, right?
Yeah, they
don't. Like, what do you think people email their congressman and like call their congressman and
yes, but that's what I'm trying to say is that like in order to keep in touch with the people you should be in your state, going to the different cities, talking to people, trying to figure, because that doesn't happen anymore. They used to travel to the cities and figure out like, okay, this is a mill town. Like, what do they produce for the city? What do they need? What do they
actually like back in the day when I was going to like those libertarian meetings and stuff?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that we had on the show? He went to some of those.
Walsh.
Yeah, Walsh.
Yeah.
Like he went to a couple of them, and then he would go to like some of the mandate protests and stuff. I'd see him out there.
Those
doing
are
that.
local people, though, right? And that's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
That's what all of them should be doing. And so, like, that's what I'm saying is, I'm for you working in this position full time, but like, you need to do what you're supposed to do for this position, and you should be talking to the people. You should be voting and actually understanding what you're voting on, and understanding what your contingents want you to do, not just be getting fucking some other random because everybody's like gay and
having gay sex on the floor
with kids at a pizza parlor.
Well, dude, is Lauren Boebert going to be involved? Because I'm in.
Boebert, yeah.
Lauren Boebert, Dango,
what
I saw an AI picture of her in AOC. I'm like, not bad, not bad.
Yeah,
just AI though.
There's not a lot to compete with. Let's just be that. In government, there's not a lot of hotties. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
All right, dudes. Good stuff, man.
Yes,
good show.
Good episode.
Yeah, I like that.
Good stuff.
Love y'all.
Let's take our fucking country back.
Someday we will.
It will happen
when we get the fucking balls. So masturbate away, people.
Unlike
get your semen count up.
Yeah, unlike these college kids that all of a sudden take over a building and now they want help.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Oh wait. Cheers.
All right. Cheers, guys. We'll see you guys. If you're not on Patreon, get on Patreon. We skipped last week, so we're doing the Zoom party this Friday.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Later, guys.